My goodness, Leo, I pulled some cards for you already, and we have almost all major arcana. And whenever I see these cards in abundance, I know there are some amazing changes, maybe even once in a lifetime changes that are happening. And they all look really, really exciting and really, really good. So I can't wait to dive into that with you today. Before we do that, I just want to thank all of you who support this channel with your likes and subscribes. I want to wish you all a happy holiday. We actually have a sale on my website. So if you want to get a reading or a distance Reiki session with me, you can book that at 20% off using the code Good Tidings. This is just a really wonderful time to do divination or energy work. It just helps you start off the new year on the right foot. And I love this time of year. I love setting intentions. I'm kind of a junkie for New Year's. It's probably my favorite holiday. So I'm excited for that. Also super excited for the solstice because I'm going to be honest, I live in New York and I'm just so sick and tired of this dark, drabby, dreary weather, and I can't wait to just feel light starting to return to the world. And I know as a Leo, you can kind of relate because you are ruled by the sun. And I think you really feel these dark days with me. I have some Leo placements too, so we're kind of siblings. But anyway, Leo, I do have the star showing up in the past for you. And this is so, so beautiful. I actually get a couple of different interpretations for this right away. The first is that I feel like a lot of you have been healing or going through a time of darkness, and now you're finding a sense of hope or optimism. The thing about the star is that we can't see stars unless we are in the night, unless we are in darkness. And I feel like some of you have been going through a dark time, you've been going through this sort of dark period, but now you are looking up and you are seeing these guiding forces, this inner light that is shining, and it is helping you move forward. And if you aren't in this place where you are feeling optimistic or high-spirited, which is possible with the astrology, especially in the first part of December here, there could be some turbulence. It's just really important that you connect and reconnect with the things that matter most to you and really get a bigger perspective on things. Oftentimes when I think of the star, I also think of like the North Star or a lodestar, which is a guiding or navigational point. And with that, it's about knowing what's important to you and going in that direction. And so long as you are moving in that direction, you are feeling more and more aligned, and you can keep your energy and spirits high. And the star is kind of abstract because it is far away. It's something that we never actually reach, but it's pointing out the direction. And just because we have this sense of purpose and navigation, it doesn't mean that we don't experience daily life. It doesn't mean that we don't get caught up in kind of the grind, or there's things that aren't expected that come up, especially during the holidays when Mars and then later Mercury goes retrograde. But when you have this faith, when you have this hope, it's almost like those things don't matter as much. And so just as a reminder, coming into December, remember the star. Keep your focus on the star. What's also interesting is that we do have the devil, but we have this with the Eight of Wands. And I feel like part of you reconnecting with this purpose, reconnecting with this direction, is also you identifying what is no longer working for you. Now, often when we see the devil, there are codependent relationships or toxic relationships. There could also be substances or addictions or just bad habits or negative beliefs. And when I saw this with the Eight of Wands, I was like, oh my God, Leo is finally doing it. Leo is finally breaking these cycles. It's finally over. And I almost titled this video, It's Finally Over. And then I was like, well, wait a minute. This feels oddly familiar. And then I realized it's what I titled your reading for November. So if you haven't seen that reading, maybe there's something happening kind of as an extension from that reading. I do remember that one was a bit heavier than this, and you're kind of in the aftermath. You're kind of now moving forward. So maybe for some context, it might not hurt to check that out. But really overall, what I see here is in order for you to move forward, it's like you need to break some habits, or you need to break cycles or bonds that aren't working for you. And I think you already know what these are. I really do. Especially with the sun. Like, things are clear as day here. And, if I were to kind of be a little coy with this card, maybe there is like a rude awakening that could be happening on December 8th when we have the sun, your ruling planet or ruling luminary is more apt. It's going to be forming an opposition with Mars in the sign of Gemini, and the sun is in Sagittarius. Now, what's really interesting for you is that this is all about your passions, it's about creativity, it's about romance. This could feel in direct opposition to your hopes and wishes and dreams. And maybe that is why the star and the devil came out together. I almost get this as a sense of like, in order to pursue the thing that actually makes you feel purpose-filled and alive and inspired, you might have to let go of things that are distracting you or things that are just keeping you in the moment or keeping you stuck. And with the sun, there's a lot of healing, there's a lot of revelation, there's a lot of clarity. There's also a lot of creativity here as well. And I feel like you are going to be very, very creative this month, especially in Sagittarius season. This can also represent sexual energy or even like fertility. Maybe this is like a portal of life, quite literally. But Sagittarius energy for you, Leo, really just represents creative life force energy. And so, however you are feeling inspired, definitely act on it. It could even be important to your destiny or to your purpose. Really, really big, big energy here. We do have the Hanged Man showing up as a challenge, and it's like kind of riffing off of the devil and the Eight of Wands here. It's like you're not going to be able to move forward until you just see something in the eye, until you address something. And like, you might even be keeping yourself stuck. You might even be needing to see things from a different perspective. But it's like, no matter how you cut it, no matter how you look at it, you know that something isn't going to work for you. And it's like, you're no longer bargaining with yourself. You're no longer bargaining to stay in relationships or stay in situations that just aren't fulfilling you. And I do feel like there is a new cycle in the future with the Wheel of Fortune that's very, very fortunate and very, very blessed. You're actually coming into a very lucky cycle, especially around the 20th when Jupiter enters into the fire sign Aries, fellow fire sign. So you're really feeling that in a beautiful way. And for you specifically, this is helping you connect spiritually. It's helping you learn more and travel. If you want to travel, this is a great time to start manifesting travel opportunities. But really, I see this as like new perspectives and new cycles overall. Like, you really are completing a karmic cycle. And I'm kind of hesitant to use that word because, frankly, I feel like there's just so many terms in the spiritual world that get overused, and like people use things like twin flame or karmic cycle and they don't even have any meaning to them anymore. People just kind of like assume they know what these words mean, but I really do feel like for you, you have been in a karmic cycle. And what I mean by that is you've been in a cycle where there have been very hard lessons and you've been polished. You haven't been growing in a way that feels comfortable or easy. It's almost like you've been losing parts of yourself that are no longer aligned to you. And I think you are wrapping this up. We do also have Saturn kind of finishing its run in the sign of Aquarius, which has been pretty challenging for you, Leo. And honestly, 2022 has been a pretty challenging year for Leo placements, especially Leo rising or Leo ascendant people, because we've just had so much kind of opposition in your career, in your home, and in your relationships. Like, all these major platforms of your life have just kind of been like attacking you or coming at you, and it's sort of been like tearing you or pulling you in contradictory directions. It's been challenging. It's been really, really hard to have Leo placements this year. But I feel like you are moving forward. There is a lot of cycle and change is inevitable. And this feels like very positive change. So I love to see this energy here for you. I really, really do. We do have a full moon in Gemini on the 7th, and this could be representing a culmination of a wish or a wish being fulfilled. during this time. It could also bring some endings, especially with friendships or social circles or even like humanitarian causes that you once identified with, or maybe you put in a lot of yourself into something and now you are wrapping up that cycle and kind of graduating, letting it go. I get more of a gentle energy with this sort of release, to be honest. It feels more like a culmination or fruition, but there can always be endings, especially with the full moon in these sort of peak cycle periods. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind. We do also have Mercury and Venus entering Capricorn that week. We have Mercury entering Capricorn on the 6th, and we have Venus entering Capricorn on the 9th. And both of these are really going to be helping you kind of focus more on routines and wellness and things that make you feel better. And I think especially working on your mental health this month is going to be really, really important, specifically with like kind of the activation we have been getting. I think you're just needing to take better care of yourself, and that's going to help you feel better on all levels. Kind of body mind stuff here. We do also have the Sun entering Capricorn on the 21st. Again, really focused on your health and wellness. And the 23rd, that's almost like New Year's resolution energy to me when we have the new moon in Capricorn, because that really is setting things up for the long term. And for you specifically, Leo, with this being in the sign of Capricorn, Capricorn being your sixth house of health, or your sixth house of health, wellness, and routine, there we go. It's almost like the best way to set that intention is to just start a practice or commit to a routine around that time. And it's almost like starting New Year's off early. That's kind of why I think it's so interesting that New Year's Eve occurs typically around the new moon in Capricorn. And that's just a time of committing to new cycles, committing to the long term, committing to a vision. I just think that's really, really cool. But we do have Mercury going retrograde at the end of this month as well in the sign of Capricorn. So, of course, not everything is going to be super straightforward. And that's kind of the energy with the Wheel of Fortune. Even though it is a fortunate and very auspicious card, it can be a little chaotic. It can be a little random at times. So you might be needing to adjust and make changes to your routines or wellness. That might be something that's happening as well. But overall, Leo, the energy is just so, so beautiful here. I am so excited for you because I feel like you are really changing, and it's like this is a turning point, a major turning point in your life happening this month. And I can't wait to hear about it in the comment section down below. Please let me know what you're doing, what's going on right now. I feel like there's amazing manifestations that are happening for you. Some of you are going to be manifesting travel opportunities, or maybe continuing education, or just connecting more with your optimism and feeling more hopeful and connecting to spirituality, and maybe even astrology is giving you a lot of guidance into next year as well. So just beautiful, beautiful stuff. I do want to finish this off by pulling some animal cards for you, and I really like to think of these animal cards as energies or archetypes for you to embody this month. So what are the animal energies for Leo for the month of December 2022? I also want to tell you to look out for the animal that comes up for you. This could be coming up as imagery or signs. Maybe you encounter this creature, or maybe you are just noticing or learning about this creature more. I'm actually getting some of you are dreaming about a specific animal this month, so pay attention to your dreams and what sort of animals are reaching out to you in the astral plane. We have the sea serpent. Wow, so major emotional healing, some shedding that is happening here. The sea serpent does also correspond to the sacral chakra, or the second chakra, which is also known as Svadhisthana, which translates as in her own abode. So you are really coming home to yourself. You are embodying yourself and making your vessel a temple. And so really kind of appropriate to the energy, again, that we are in, especially as we get into Capricorn season, taking care of yourself, loving on yourself. But also, there are big emotions, there are big cycles that are kind of coming full circle now with the sea serpent. So that's really, really interesting. Um, we also have the dragonfly and the frog. There we go. Both of these animals actually go through transformation, which is interesting. Obviously, we go from tadpole to frog, but we also go from nymph to dragonfly. And these animals are both associated with ponds. And even the sea serpent has that connection to water, so I'm feeling like there's a lot of pond or water imagery that's coming up very strongly for you this month. I do kind of get a fae-like energy with the dragonfly. It does kind of remind me of Mars being in Gemini and the energy kind of being all over the place. But when I really think of dragonfly in its highest form, I think of those compound eyes that help it see from all perspectives and seeing things from other people's perspective, seeing things from different angles, and kind of resting that restless energy. And also knowing that you can always change direction. If you need a change in your life, if you need to transform in your life with the frog, it's actually something that dragonfly can help you do very quickly. And there's just a lot of magic and manifestation I get with these two. Frog is also about healing. It's about growing. And it's interesting because some of you might be, again, that word graduation comes for some reason, but it's like you are graduating in such a way where it's like you have grown, but it's not like you're necessarily like leaving the place you have grown from. And in fact, you're almost coming back to things from a bigger perspective as a frog, because even once a frog becomes goes from tadpole to frog, I should say, once it goes through its transformation, it still goes back to the pond. And it does so from an even greater or higher or more expanded perspective. And so I feel like there is growth that's happening. And things could be changing very quickly. Things could happen very, very quickly for you this month. I will say that with the Eight of Wands as well, just very rapid changes. So again, it might be a little bit chaotic at times, but honestly, Leo, just go with it. Move with it. I know it's not always comfortable to change, and I know these shifts aren't always easy because we're human and we crave stability, we crave stagnancy sometimes. But these changes are stirring some really powerful things. And honestly, I see major soul connections. I see you aligning with your purpose. I see you meeting soulmates and soul family. There's just so much of your destiny here. And it feels very full circle in a way. It's almost like you are meeting people who you feel like you've already known. You're coming back to passions that maybe you have forgotten about or didn't realize how much certain things meant to you until you started doing them again. I just see this beautiful full circle energy. I love this for you, Leo. I'm going to end this reading off here. I hope that this was helpful. Again, feel free to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already done that. All of my links are in the description box down below, and I am running that sale through December 21st. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care, Leo. Happy holidays. I'm sending all my love your way.